Hey, what's going on, guys? It's John back with another video, and in today's episode of Left-Handed Techniques, we're going to talk about voice leading. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so predominantly when you hear the term voice leading, a lot of the times it's talked about in a melodical sense, where we're leading to the next chord or leading to the next melody note. Okay, but in this case, we're talking about voice leading, but with our left hand. Okay, so what does that look like? Let's say I want it in the key of E. Let's say I want it to go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, right? And so if we're playing something that has some type of a rhythm to it, some type of a beat to it, we don't just want to play the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We don't want to do that, right? We want to add a little bit more flavor to it. We want to add some little bit more intrigue to it. Okay, so one of the things that we can do is voice lead. Okay, and all voice leading is literally playing something that is leading us to the next chord or to the next melody note. Okay, and in this case, we want to go from the 1 to the 4. So one of the ways that I would think about doing that is simply walking up the scale. That's the easiest way to do it. If we're in the key of C, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or back to the 1. And so if we want to get to the 4, the first place that you can start is literally just by walking up 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But we're going to do this with our left hand. All right, so I'll do an example for you. Okay, now not focusing too much on the right hand because the right hand is doing something that is helping this, but literally just looking at the left hand. Whenever we see a chord sheet and we see a chord sheet that says 1 chord for four beats, and then your 4 chord is playing for 4 beats, a lot of the times we just kind of play that at face value. And just like I talked about in a previous video where we kind of lock ourselves into thinking that we have to only play certain notes in the key, when I talked about in that video, sometimes we do the same thing when we're looking at chords. We look at a chord and we say, oh, it's the 1 chord. I can't play anything but the 1 chord. Well, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, the 1 chord is where we're at, but where are we going? Music is about progressing. That's why we call it a chord progression, right? When we're playing these chords, all of these chords are locking together like puzzle pieces, and they have to move and flow into one another. If we just block every chord out and just play them in that fashion, you get very bland and uninteresting music. So when I'm moving up to that 4, I'm not just playing those notes, I'm actually playing them with a little bit of feel, a little bit of dynamics. Okay, and this is something that is very important for you guys. I'm gonna also do another series on how to play rhythmically, but this is really important for you guys to understand, because a lot of the cool stuff that you see people play, it's not just about the notes. It's about the dynamics. It's about the rhythm. It's about the tastefulness of the notes that they're playing, right? Because you can play 4 notes. And then there's a difference between just playing the 4 notes and actually adding dynamic and feel into the 4 notes. All right. So when I played that, okay, all I did was just walk up to the 4. All right, and that's the essence of all I mean by voice leading. We're going from 1, and what notes can I play that lead me over to the 4? Okay, as another example, I could do something like a 1, 6, 5, 4, right? Right, I can do that. And then walk back down. Okay. Another thing that you can do is use notes that are outside of the key, right? So if I did that 1, 6, 5, 4, what I could also do is on my way down, hit that flat 6, which would be a B flat. So I could do that, right? Saw that accidental I put in there, that G? Okay, those are all different things that you can experiment with. When we're talking about voice leading, we're literally talking about, very simply, where are we going and what notes can we play in between there to go. So that's just between 2 chords. What if we did something that was more than 2 chords? So let's say something, standard progression is 6, 4, 1, 5 in the key of E, right? So 6, 4, 1, 5. All right, so let's see what we can do here as far as voice leading is concerned. So we're going from the 6 to the 4. What can we do there? So I could do something like this. Right? Even though the chord sheet says 6-4, I'm playing a 6-3-4. And that 3 is leading me to my 4, right? That doesn't necessarily have to be written on the chord sheet. The chord sheet can still say 6-4, but in the middle of that, I'm going to improvise and I'm going to throw in a different chord in between there, right? And I know this is more so talking about a chord progression, like we're throwing in a chord, but if we're talking about just the left hand, we don't even have to change our right hand chord. We can just move our left hand, right? So I can keep this here. So I'm not necessarily changing the chord progression, but I'm using my left hand to lead to that next note. Right? I'm going from octaves to the 4. Right? And that's me utilizing my left hand. I'm utilizing groove. I'm adding in my octaves and this leading tone that's going to my 4. So I'm starting on the 6. That's without the leading tone. I'm just going from 6 to 4. Here's the leading tone. Okay? Okay, so if I'm doing 6, 4, going from the 4 to the 1, what can I do there? I can do, or I could do, let's see. Let's see what a 2 to 1 sounds like, right? So we're going 6. Yeah, we could do that. So here's the whole progression. 6, 4, 1, 5. 4 to the 1. I use this 3 to get me to my 5. Okay. Hopefully I'm not moving too fast for you guys. So I'm going to slow that down just a little bit so you guys can see. Remember, we're talking about doing voice leading with our left hand, right? Our chord progression is 6, 4, 1, 5. So any notes that I play outside of a 6, 4, 1, or a 5 is going to be some of that voice leading that I'm talking about, right? And all the rhythm that I'm adding is just a little bit of flavor to make those notes fit and make them make sense, right? Okay. So when I'm talking about voice leading, I'm not necessarily always talking about having to change the chord with your right hand. Sometimes my right hand will stay still and my left hand is just moving. Look at that. That's how we can get to the 4 too. We can walk it up like. Right? So I'm just going 6, 7, 1, 4. Right? So a lot of these things that we're talking about aren't necessarily rules. Like, you don't have to play a 3 to lead to the 4. You don't have to play a 6-7-1 to lead to the 4, right? These are all things that just kind of they just kind of come from your musical vocabulary, from your musical ear, from your experience as a musician, which is why it's very important that you listen to different genres, you listen to different types of music, because they're going to open your ear to different ideas. And when you hear those different ideas, you'll be able to put those into your own vocabulary. And then you'll be able to mix and match those things together to come up with your own voice. Okay. So it's very important that you do that. Now, I don't want you guys to get too confused with all of the things that I was playing in this video. Mainly what I want you to understand is that you can use your left hand to create a little bit of movement when you play, a little bit of groove when you play. And it's very important for you to understand that you don't always have to stay on that one note. If it says to play a 6, before you go to the 4, you don't have to just stay on the 6. You can play different things in between, even if you use your right hand to help you out a little bit. So in that case, we're getting a little bit more away from left-handed techniques, and we're talking about embellishing chord progressions by adding in borrowed chords and all those different things. But strictly just talking about your left hand, you can add a lot of groove and entry with your left hand by just moving around a couple of notes as you're moving through your chord progression. Okay, so I don't want to get too crazy in this video. If this video was helpful for you guys, let me know down in the comment section below. If I could have explained something a little bit differently, let me know down in the comment section below. You guys know that I have no problem re-recording a video, recording a different video, just kind of explaining it a different way for you guys. I want you guys to understand all of these different concepts, because I know this is something that you guys have been wanting. You know, these left-handed techniques, and really trying to understand how to break out of just playing your basic, you know. And so if this video was great, if it helped you guys, be able to like it, share it, send it out to your friends. If somebody's struggling, send them over to my channel so that way they can continue to receive just like you guys are. Keep updated down in the description below for any new links that I have for you guys. But until the next time, you guys take it easy, be blessed, and get to work.